Welcome back to Waiting Isn't Working. Before there was a podcast, there was a book title. Procrastination is not the boss, you are. That title sat with me for a long time. And if you've been here for a while, you know some of that story already. So I'm not going to keep walking you back through the same hallway. You know enough. You know there was an idea. You also know there was fear. You know there was a version of me that kept asking, am I qualified to say this? I'm Fabiola, and this is Waiting Isn't Working. Eventually, I started. The podcast came out of that decision. The book that I mentioned earlier came back into focus because of that very decision. So, I have been thinking about what happens when an idea stops being something you carry quietly and becomes something that asks for your hand. It is one thing to say, this matters to me. It is another to let your calendar, your choice, your habits, and your follow through agree with you. That is where I want to sit today. Not in the idea, in the work. The reason why I want to start here is because the idea can be beautiful when it lives only in your head. No one can judge it. No one can misunderstand it. But the moment you bring it into the real world, it changes, it gets heavier, it gets a little messier. It starts needing your decisions, it starts needing your attention. When you're tired, your honesty when you're tempted to hide, and your discipline when the excitement has already left the room. That is why some of us love the idea more than we participate in the work. We love to talk to our friends about our ideas. And I say that gently because I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to carry something and still keep it at a safe distance, close enough to say, this is mine, far enough that it cannot ask me to become responsible for it. Have you been there? And that is the part we do not always talk about. Sometimes we're not avoiding the dream because we do not care. We are avoiding it because we care so much that bringing it into the world feels like a risk. When it becomes real, you have to show up differently. The work will not always feel inspiring. Sometimes the work is quiet. Sometimes the work is a page nobody sees. The work is editing the thing again and again. Sometimes the work is showing up when the first version is not impressive. I have news for you. Your first version will not be impressive. It will not be the way you saw it in your head. Sometimes the work is keeping a promise to yourself that no one else knows you made. That kind of work does not always clap for you, but it changes you. The work is not always loud, but it always telling the truth. Your action, your calendar is telling the truth. Your follow through is telling the truth. And I don't mean that as a shame. That is why I love the phrase leave evidence. Because Evidence is not about proving yourself to everybody. Evidence is quieter than that. Evidence says something exists because I participated. A conversation happened. An apology was made. A decision was no longer postponed. A room changed because I showed up differently. A small promise was kept. Not every move has to be public to matter. Some of the most important evidence in your life never become a post. It will never be explained to the people who are watching from a distance. But you will know. You will know that you did not abandon yourself. You will also know that the thing you keep saying matters actually received something from you. Because there's a difference between admiring a life and participating in it. There is a difference between describing the person you want to become and living evidence that you are becoming her. That gap is uncomfortable to look at. How do I know that? I have been there. But it is also a gift. Because once you see the gap, you can close it. You have the power to close it. Not all at once, not perfectly, just honesty. One decision at a time, one honest move at a time. I think that it is where many of us are. We are not so confused about everything. We may not know the whole road ahead of us, but we know one thing. We know the conversation we keep avoiding, one list to another. We also know the promise we keep making to ourselves and breaking it quietly. We know. And maybe the invitation today is not to know more, is to do one thing with what we already know. And I know that can sound simple, but simple does not mean easy. Sometimes the simplest thing is the thing we have been avoiding the longest. Send the email, make the appointment, clean the space, have the honest conversation, apply, record, begin, and do it without needing the whole thing to announce itself as destiny. Destiny is not always loud. Destiny sometimes looks like stewardship, taking care of the thing that has been placed in your hands. I'm not asking you to worship the idea, not waiting for it to become easier, not asking for a feeling every time you need to move. Let it become real through your participation. That is also one of the things that I'm learning with this podcast. The work does not need me to explain forever why I waited. And maybe your work is asking the same from you. Your dream, the one in your journal, is asking the same from you. Not an explanation, something real, something that proves you were here. I want to ask you one question. If your life asks For evidence, what could you show it? Not your intention, not your plans, evidence. What exists because you participated? And I want you to hear this carefully. If the answer is not much, do not use that to shame yourself. Use it as a door. The next hour can still be honest. You can still do one real thing, not the impressive thing, the real one. The one that closes the gap between who you try to become and what your life is receiving from you. So that is where we begin, not with another explanation, with the quiet work. Because procrastination is not the boss. Fear is not the boss. The old story is not the boss. The old version of you is not the boss. You are. I'll see you soon.